Several organizations and charities have created outreach programs to assist those most affected by the floods that swept through KwaZulu-Natal this week, with food, blankets, building materials, water and clothing among the donations needed. The death toll caused by the floods and severe weather in KwaZulu-Natal continues to rise, with the latest figure now standing at 398. Now let's invite via Skype, Patrick Fisher, Executive Director at Farmers Aid SA, into the conversation. Patrick, thank you so much for your time. Now, so many people have died. I mean, this number continues to rise as we hear missing people, also feared dead. This is just a tragedy that's too hard to comprehend. Talk to us about the devastation you are currently seeing on the ground.
Thank you so much for inviting me on your show. You can actually describe it just in one word. It's havoc. A lot of people have lost homes. A lot of people have lost their lives. And I think this rain that is still continuing in KZN is not helping either. The ones that we're focusing on at the moment is the elderly. We just received not long ago a message of a double-story old-age home that had to be evacuated because they were worried about that it's going to be collapsing under this weather. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. I think this is only just the beginning. I think we're still going to see a lot of devastation. Still going to see a lot of people losing their lives. The ones that already lost their lives, I mean, we saw children as young as 2 weeks old that have lost their lives. So yeah, it's devastating, and we're going to need a lot of help to get the community back up and running again.
Now, of course, we know that the area hardest hit is eThekwini, but talk to us about just some of the things that are needed. I know you spoke about you focusing particularly at elderly people, but what is the greatest need at the moment? I mean, we're seeing some organizations coming out and lending a helping hand.
I would say water, believe it or not, is the most requested help that we are getting at the moment. People, there is no, just in some communities there is no water. So water, food, blankets, in some cases tents where we can evacuate people and put them under tents because it's extremely cold in Durban as well. So we're going to need clothing. Like I said, a lot of households have lost everything. So you got to give them clothing, you got to feed them. And what people also don't really realize is some of the communities don't have electricity. So you can drop off a food parcel, but if there's no gas, they can't cook any food. They can't boil any water. So we would say if water, food, gas bottles, if they can sponsor that and donate that to us, that'll be greatly. Then at least they can cook, at least they can boil some water for themselves.
Of course, Patrick, one of the things that is also concerning is that, the Weather Service is warning that more rain is on the way. So what happens to those that are still stranded, that still need accommodation? Do you know if anybody at the moment is still living under those very dangerous situations?
Yes, we had requests of people. We might have been through the house. And the house is on shaky ground and they're still staying there because they got nowhere else to go. So we're working with different other organizations as well to see where we can evacuate these people to, but we need tents. We need no use evacuating them, but you can't put them anywhere. So we need massive tents where we can evacuate and put these people in there for safety. But some of the people don't want to leave their houses because they got nowhere else to go. So that is a challenge that we are facing with. Like I said, it's such havoc, yeah, and the rain is really not helping. And they did say, I think they call it the orange stage or something like that, where devastation is going to occur, more rain is going to occur, more mudslides will happen. So yeah, we basically need water, food, tents, blankets, and stuff like that, so we can evacuate the people into safety areas.
You know, one of my colleagues earlier spoke to one of the residents that have also been badly affected. And one of the things that this resident, kept on saying is that mentally everybody's not okay. Whilst you ask them what it is that they need immediately, the reason that most of them are not okay is because they're still searching for their loved ones. How's everybody coping, mentally whilst the rescue operations are still continuing?
That's a huge problem. We had a lady phoning us and she was crying the whole time. She said she doesn't know what to do. She's lost everything. Her furniture is gone. Everything is gone. Her kids' school clothes and stationery that she bought, that's all gone. So she's really not at a good place at the moment. So, and that's just one of so many families at the moment. Some of the families don't know where their children are. Some of the families don't know where their family members are. So yeah, it's you can just put it down as it's havoc. Mentally, people are struggling. Physically, they are struggling. So yeah, we need to get help as soon as possible to these people. But you can't also we say it's not a 100-meter sprint; it's a marathon. So you got to plan carefully. You got to plan well so that when you execute it, the stuff goes to the right people and gets to the right communities.
Of course, that
the last flooding we had a few years ago.
Of course, that is one of the concerns, Patrick. That when the donations do start streaming in, as we have seen. I mean, we've just seen now the Motsepe Foundation donating 30 million rands. The concern does come in there in terms of planning. Will this money be distributed to the ones who need it most immediately? So how do you then start planning to make sure that everybody gets some form of help, especially those that are more in need than others?
Yes, we've already started with the planning with different other organizations, and we said we've allocated certain areas where people are mostly affected, and where the need is ASAP. So we have allocated different areas. People are collecting up in Pretoria, Joburg, and those areas, and they're coming down with trucks of food and water and blankets as well. So we said every cent that comes in has to go back to the community. We made a strict rule on that no money will be used for private use or something like that. Everything will be used to buy either food, either buy blankets, either buy water, gas bottles, whatever they need, just to get them up and running. We can't afford at this stage for any funds to go missing. So we have to get the right people involved, and we have the right people involved that's honest and got the caring heart for the elderlies and the children.
Those that are listening to this conversation wanting to help and obviously trusting that their monies and some of their supplies will go to the right hands, how do they then start contacting you? Where should they reach you?
Yeah, people can, if they're in KZN, people can reach me on 076 445 8345, and we've got a team up in the Pretoria area as well. The contact person there is Rihanna. I'll give you a number now. They are currently busy collecting for us. Her number is 064 902 6558. We will also be, what we said to people, we've been doing this for 8 years. So, and all the funds that we've got, and we make sure that we make a video or photo and we show exactly where the funds have gone, because the donors play a critical role in disasters like this, and you got to show to the public that, listen, this is where the money, this is how much money has come in, this is where the money has gone to, and it's going to be an open book.
Of course, we also have those banking details on our screen currently where people can donate. Patrick, another conversation that happens year in, year out, and some may argue that it is probably too soon, but it's that of infrastructure. Whilst we know that this is some form of, climate change related, nature, etc., but it also can be exacerbated by just a lack of infrastructure that supports such things. What do you say to a conversation of that nature in terms of, if you actually look at the infrastructure that has been completely decimated, and also how the problem has just become bigger because of the poor infrastructure that we currently have?
Yeah, I would say the biggest issue, Nati, is people are building on places that's not suitable to build houses on. They are not being informed properly why they can't build on there, or why they shouldn't build on there, and that is why you're having that problem currently, where a whole community of low-cost housing has just disappeared. It's because they are not informed that, listen, you cannot build on this, and the reason is you cannot build on this because if we get a situation like flooding, your house is not going to stand. So definitely there is a huge communication problem, and information for those people in those different areas. You can't just go and put a house up anywhere. There's ways of doing it, and that's why you see this destruction. That's why you see so many lives are being lost. We'll have to, long term, you're gonna have to rebuild. People don't have roofs over their head. You gotta fix all those things, but you can't fix it without funding. And you've got to inform them. It's not a case of just saying we're going to fix your house. We're going to tell them, listen, you cannot build again on this property, because the reason is when there's a flood again, your house will be gone. So I think the government will have to play a big role in that as well, is to inform settlements that, listen, this is not the place to build. The risk of losing your family, your kids, is very high. So the information will definitely have to be given to these communities.
And that risk was obviously seen this time around. As we are speaking now, the death toll, has risen to 398 people who have sadly lost their lives. Patrick Fisher, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.